I just got a notice that we're live.
We are live. Yes. Perfection. So, welcome to the Crazy Writers. I don't even know weeks. We can't count weeks anymore because we've skipped and messed things up. What is this? Our fourth
We skipped 2 weeks.
event. We skipped
By
two because we've had
accident.
technical issues
wasn't
that
on
you don't even want to
purpose.
hear about.
It's our
No.
fifth event.
But
And we switched days.
we're here. Kind of announced and unannounced. I think, Becca, you had done a post that we were going to give it a try tonight and see if we had some better success with technology.
I didn't say what day it was going to be.
You didn't say when. So surprise, we're here.
Yeah,
But
because we didn't know what was going to happen.
no, we didn't. And I kind of feel like we keep committing to things and then letting people down because nothing's working right. But it looks like things are working right tonight. So let's knock on wood and just keep moving forward. But if you guys have been here before, then you already know us. My name is Nikki Rome. I'm a contemporary romance author and part of the Crazy Writer Chicks group. Rebecca White is me today and Winter Navi. And we are talking about who done it better, really. The book versus the world, right?
The world,
The book versus the movie, the book versus the play, the book versus the TV. I mean, we could talk about all of it because most of this all started as a book. So anyway, where should we start?
Unless it was Star Wars. I think Star Wars started as a movie and then went to book.
It did. You're right.
You did. I think no, wait, what's the other one? My husband. Is it Jack Reacher? Was it Jack?
No.
Tom Clancy started his movies?
No.
No, he started as
No.
He's got a series that's coming out without remorse that's not tied to books, which it is tied to books. Why are you giving me the wrong information?
Live. The wrong information live.
Jack Ryan. Still based on books. What's the one that you watched that was a movie before it was books? I can't remember.
They did Firefly was novelized after.
Firefly?
Firefly was.
I started out. No, the comic books came out after, huh?
They came after too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they took
Which I think is an interesting dynamic too, because you can sometimes get hooked to, just in the same way I guess you get hooked to the book, and then you see the characters change or evolve in different ways than you would expect on screen. It's the same thing. You fall in love with them on screen, and then somebody takes creative liberties to put new words in, and you're like,
Although I have to say, with Firefly, I heard them talking when I read it.
Is that good?
You know, like maybe because I've watched it too many times, so it was really stuck in my head. But I would, and you know what? I watched Harry Potter before I read any of it too, I think, and so those characters were in my head, like when I read the book.
I was the first person.
This child is stuck out of bed again because he really wants to be live on TV.
Hi, Trooper.
He's supposed to be in bed.
Hey, Trooper.
Shouldn't you be sleeping?
Love you.
Oh, I love you too, Trooper.
Winter says she loves you too.
Just like.
He says, "Yep, I know." That's what he said.
Of course he does. You know what though? I have to tell you that I watched both. We all know that I like to do things in order when it comes to books. So I like to read books first and then watch the movie because movies ruin things, and they leave a ton of stuff out. So
well, we know where Winter stands on the which is better.
I avoided
on everything.
There goes that.
Listen, unless it's BBC version, we'll get to that second. But no, a friend made me watch Harry Potter because it was her birthday, and then a friend made me watch Twilight because that was her birthday on a different year. And listen, when I tell you, I hadn't read the books because neither one was finished. Like the series weren't finished, and we know.
Yeah.
I get addicted to things and then I obsess, and if it's not complete then I freak out until they're out. And then I do with the Veil series and check every day on Audible to see if it's out yet, and it's not. So leave one credit in there for that one day it's in there. But listen, with Harry Potter and Twilight as movies,
Wait, I'm
I
sorry.
had
We should not
questions.
be comparing those two.
No,
Or
I'm not
putting them in
comparing them.
the
I'm
same
not comparing.
category.
What I'm
Okay.
saying is, as the movies were, when I got to the end, I had no clue what was really happening. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like as I was watching both of those, I was missing a lot of information. So they made me go read the books
Oh,
Huh.
because there was a lot of information missing in Twilight, and there was a lot of information missing in Harry Potter in the movies, because you can't put everything in because there's so much detail. I'm not saying it's bad.
Right.
I'm just saying
Right.
if you like detail like I do, I could tell that some of the points
Yeah.
were missed.
Well, I've
And then
been
after I read everything and watched the movies after, then I was like, oh, I like the way they put it together. Because I already knew what was missing. It was in my head, so I just connected the dots myself.
I'm not a
right.
big person who catches plot holes. Clearly, you know this because you edit most of my books. But I will say, I did books first with both of those series, and Twilight, I had my own issues with the Twilight movies. I mean, they were good for what they were, but they were like, I don't know if they should have
You're
ever
being
actually been made into a
generous.
movie.
You're being very
Harry
generous.
Potter, can we all admit they did a really damn good job making those
did.
Yeah.
movies, like
They did.
really good. And I almost feel like if you're not a person who typically picks up on things that might be like Easter eggs, which was really what was in the
Mhm.
movie, making you want to go back to the books. If you're not a person that typically picks up on those, you probably could really still sit and enjoy the movies just for
Mhm.
what they were. Like
Yeah.
honestly probably one of the best series of, or is it even? It's not called a series. What do they call it when you do a bunch of movies? Same difference. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's still a series.
Series of movies? That doesn't seem
Think.
right. Trilogy.
franchise?
Well, I don't know. Franchise of movies. Franchise sounds good. I think they did a really good job. And you know, I always kind of came back to the fact that they consulted J.K. Rowling so much in the beginning and the world development and of
Mhm.
everything of those movies that it just felt more authentic to me as a reader watching them
As
than
opposed to
so
trying
many
to push
other
them out.
things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it, she did not give them any liberty. Like, it was
Very
in the
little.
contract that she had say on pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they did have to change
Which,
some
I
things,
mean, I got
especially
my
as
own
the books
issues
got
with her
longer.
on other stuff, but like, mad respect for the businesswoman or to negotiate it that way because it was her creation. You know,
Well, and it's easy
she
to get
knew
pushed
from
out
the beginning that's what
of
she.
those.
What?
Audrey cut out.
Sorry. And it's easy to
So
get pushed out of those things. It's saying that my phone is hot, and I don't know why, because it's night, but whatever.
I think it is easy to get pushed out of those things. I think especially for the
Mhm.
author.
Yeah, my husband is fond of saying that, and I haven't looked this up to see if it's true, but that basically, like Stephen King, he sold his movies and had basically no say or right in anything that happened with them. And so
Yeah.
they did whatever they wanted, and that he wasn't usually happy with the result because it's just really hard unless you have an attorney and you're willing to fight for that.
Well,
And
and
want
then
to do
you
all
have
work.
And to say
Because remember,
no.
some of these people
You
are
gotta be
full-time
willing to say
authors. They may
no
not
if
want to
you're gonna.
be. Yeah.
Well, you have to become part of the staff in some way, I think. It's not as a producer, it's something, but it's something so that you can actually still be a part of it and you can get the royalties for your own movie, because sometimes you can sell your movie and not get any of the royalties from it because other people go and
Mhm.
rewrite the script, and so then it becomes their property.
Enough.
Which is
You have to change it
interesting.
enough.
Yeah, enough or whatever.
You know, which
Change the
reminds me,
car to
we need to do
blue.
one of these things on fan fiction because I still don't understand what that.
Just
I've never
rewriting a
read
story.
any. Well, that's not true. When I was a teenager, I read a lot of. It's not technically fan fiction, but kind of the same idea of Star Trek, because a lot of people wrote Star Trek books, and I guess they had to be licensed to write them because they were real books in the library, not like on websites where people just post stuff. But I think it's kind of the same idea. Like there were Star Trek fans who wanted to write it, and they got permission, and they were short, like little sometimes they even be more than one story in a book because they were like
I
episodes.
wonder if it was more could it have been an anthology maybe that was like
It could have been. I
Did-
mean, I
did
read
it
a
come
lot
together
of
in, like, a
them.
book?
Yeah, like, and some were written by
Mhm.
actors from the show and things like that. Where, but again,
Those
that
came
was
after, too.
like 30 years ago. So, I don't remember the details.
Well, I think it just goes to say that a lot can be created from the original work. And then, how much of that original work is important and needs to stay in, regardless of the creative outlet it turns into, and how much of it really can be let gone to the
Mhm.
wayside. Do you need the absolute details of what the dining hall at Hogwarts looks like? For
Right.
me, you needed all that. Food was such a
Yeah,
big part
and
of the
that you
storyline.
did, and that you did. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, the
it's just
magic
like,
of it and the staircases moving and like all of that stuff just made you feel
like you were
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did
Mhm.
really great casting for that one, for Harry Potter. All of the characters seemed like they were who they were, and it was enjoyable. Like when you're reading the book, like you could like visualize everybody, and that was really cool. They
Yeah.
also did a good job with Lord of the Rings, except for a lot of people were upset about Tom Bombadil. I was upset about Tom Bombadil, but it does make sense. It was like a chapter, guys, but I mean, Tom Bombadil. It was awesome.
A lot of
I
people's
still
favorite
Considering
remember
you all
character.
him.
just schooled me on him like 2 months ago, I really have no ground to talk there because I had no idea what you were talking about when you brought that up.
So we
I was like, what?
recently
Who?
rewatched that series, and I didn't remember how much time there, like how much footage there was of people walking.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just a lot of people walking across the screen, and it's beautiful scenery. So like you don't complain, I guess.
There's a lot of walking in the book.
Is it needed
Right, I'm sure it is.
so that you can see the world?
They were
Yeah, well,
traveling
it's
from like one
what,
side
New
of the world
Zealand,
to
I
the
think.
other.
It's just beautiful. It's beautiful walking, but it's a lot of walking. But yeah, they do walk. I mean, in the book, that's what it is. It's a, oh, what is that called?
It's a
Mhm.
traveling story.
Yeah, travel fantasy or something. There's a name for it when that's
Journey.
the kind of story it is, where you're just going from place to place, seeing different things. But back to Twilight. Can we just talk about Twilight for a second?
Sure.
Did you really like Twilight? The movie?
The books or the movie?
Like, I felt like we did a lot of groaning and moaning through the movie. Like, oh, that was just so awkward. Like it was supposed to be like romantic or something, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was awkward.
So I was a Twilight junkie when the
I
books
did not
came
hate
out.
them. I didn't hate
Of
them.
course. I loved them, I'll just say it.
You know what? Can I be-
But it was the
You mean the
first,
books?
like, the books.
Yeah.
But it was the first vampire series I had read in a while that did a pretty good job at the love story, with the exception of the little side love triangle thing that was starting that just pissed off any romance reader. You could see where it was going. So I kept
Yeah.
plowing through. When the movies came out, I mean, I rushed to see every single one of them. Not gonna lie, I wanted to see them. Even after
Just wanted
seeing
to
the first
go.
one, I was like,
Yeah.
gotta see the next one, gotta see the next one. But I will say this, I will watch Harry Potter on repeat from now till the day I die and not think twice about it.
And Lord of the
I
Rings.
record
Extended
Twilight
version.
when it's on and then end up just deleting it from the DVR eventually.
But you know,
I mean, sometimes I'll watch a little bit of it, but I'm like, oh yeah, this.
to be
It
fair,
doesn't do it for me
There
the
was
same way that the entire book walks
editing.
off the page and onto a screen like in a Harry Potter.
Yeah, it just
because
didn't
a lot
work.
of
It's just not the
information
same.
is missing. The difference between Harry
No,
Potter
it's like the
and
editing, I think. Like, it's just like
It's
awkward
just a
pauses
bad
where there shouldn't
production.
be. Yeah, like it's
Well,
just
yeah.
like, wait,
The
where?
weird gliding through the trees thing, I was like, what is happening here?
But can
But
you
I'll say
at
another
least
one. I mean,
admit- Can you at least admit
Huh.
that as they progressed in the movies, like when they got to 3 and 4, they got a little bit better.
I didn't watch them. Couldn't
See,
watch
and that's
anymore.
the thing. The first one was like, oh my gosh,
I
what's
would
happening?
say
but the other
We
it
watched
got
the second
better
one, and I
as
was
it
like,
pro-
well, the
They
second one
actually
was
got better as
definitely
it
better than the
progressed.
first one. It was way better than the first one, but not enough to make me be like, oh
Go
yeah,
to
I mean,
3 and 4.
because also the books, but the
Yeah.
books 3 and 4 I didn't like nearly as much as the first ones. Like they,
Okay.
Right.
there started to get weirder and like some stuff in it that was like, yeah, that's a little weird
Not for
and
you.
awkward. Well, like, yes, this
The love
baby
story
is
had me here.
born. I'm gonna marry her when she grows up, and for now, I'll just be her babysitter. Like, you don't think that's weird?
That's a
Well,
bit
I
weird.
mean,
Except
like in
when
an
she grew up
awkwardly
and,
in
like,
the real world, it would be
kind
weird,
of
but in
way.
a paranormal book about werewolves, it's not that strange. I've seen stranger shit written about werewolves.
It was
Remember, they don't
cringeworthy to me.
exist in the real world, so
I've
there's
read
going to
it
be
in
some
other
stuff that's a
stories.
little strange.
Yeah.
It made me
I
cringe.
don't know. I'll tell you another book series that was very good that flopped as a movie and is now flopping as a TV show is The Mortal Instruments. Did anyone read the series or see the movie?
Several of them.
Can I be
Several
honest?
of them.
I only read the first book. Now,
Okay.
let me explain this though. Wait, is this the book? Because I can't say that I'm sure. But is this the book where she really liked the guy, and then it turned out to be her brother in the end?
Well, you didn't read it all, so
But it was book
where
one.
you left
Spoilers!
off, that was the case.
That was book one though, right? I'm just saying.
Yes.
I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
think
you have to
it can.
keep reading to find out. I mean, like, is he really her brother?
That's how they
telling.
made it. That's how, man. We'll see.
Well, because you're expected to believe. I'm not going to give the story away.
Okay,
Read the rest of the series, and then you could judge.
All right,
did
I'm gonna
3 or
trust
4 of
you.
them.
I'm gonna trust you and read more. I'll
I had
read
some
more.
I
issues
did
with it.
enjoy her series quite a bit, and
Okay.
I've enjoyed quite a few things she's written. But when it came to the movie, we were talking about stuff missed. The amount of stuff was evident to even me that I was like,
wait, is the movie the one where they have English accents? Or is that the show? I can't remember. I started watching both of them.
I don't know. The show, no.
And it was really different.
It's based in New York,
Like, it was
but
really
some of the
different.
characters, there's like...
It was
some are
kind of
from
odd.
London,
Yeah, like
so...
the girl had some other kind of accent. Like, I don't know what. It's not strong, but not English or American. Like, it's her second language.
They're at the
English
New York Institute, and then one of the families is from, I think it's the London Institute. So you would have different casting with that.
Oh, well,
honestly,
that makes
for
sense.
me, it was more than just like there were holes in the story, yeah, but like the blades looked nothing like I pictured. The world looked nothing like I pictured.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a reader, you make it in your head and you want it to come kind of close to what you would expect. There were very few bits and pieces of it where I was like, this is exactly thought it was going to look like.
Yeah.
There was one big scene at the end of the movie where the like werewolves come in to like save the day, and and that was probably the only moment where I was like, yes, this is how it was supposed to be.
Where?
Oh.
But it
now I might
the rest
really
of it didn't do anything for me. And
read it.
I only made it through a handful of the TV series too, thinking that maybe it would be better. And
I think that's what we tried watching. And I was like, I don't know, it was so different. And some of it I understood. Like, it has to be different because it's a different medium. You cannot have like tit for tat or whatever you want to call it, like exactly scene by scene. It's not going to work. And some things have to change. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like all of the people were the same age. And I don't know, it was just odd. Like, they were all adults and they were supposed to be teenagers. And then the mom seemed like not really older than the girl. I don't know. It was just, there was some odd, when like the lady that was supposed to be downstairs was supposed to be like an elderly woman, I thought, or at least older. At least that's how I pictured her. Maybe that was just me. Like the witch that lived downstairs. But then she wasn't.
Like a little old lady too.
Yeah, but then in the show. But anyway, it wasn't kid
and
appropriate.
It was almost like the TV show was like a duplication of, like, they should have just picked up with a totally different storyline if they wanted to do something with the characters, That's the one thing I never really understand. It's like, well, let's try and redo what we've already done and see if we could do it better this time, because we screwed it up last time, but it's still not better.
Yeah.
So there's Game of Thrones. So there's Game of Thrones, which I know a bunch of people are really into, and I haven't watched myself, but I have heard much about it, and I do believe that the plot line diverged from the books. and I believe
It
that
did because the books are not done.
they're not done, but I believe also that they did not keep the writer in the loop or keep him the way they did with J.K. Rowling in creating the story. And so they had separate writers writing the story. And so it completely
Maybe.
diverged. So I'm not sure if he was happy with it or not. Do you guys know?
I don't know.
I've never read the books because, well, the series isn't done, and I'm a bit like you in that. I'm not starting something unless it's finished.
I know.
But I
Well,
will say
plus
I
they're
did
like
watch the shows, and they
2,000
were
words or something, like each
very
one.
good. They're huge. They're huge.
I picked one up at the
Hey,
library
If I'm
one
going to get
time, and I was like,
invested
I
in
would need
that,
a
like I need
magnifying
to
glass
really
to
get
read it.
invested in that.
I hear he's working
Yeah,
on
it's gonna,
it.
it's got an audiobook in my world. But yeah, I mean that's another good example, right? The show completely took off and it far exceeded expectations. The writer's books hadn't kept up with it yet, and so then you've got to bring in people to write a different story, write a different direction of the story, and so
Yeah,
I don't know. There's some very passionate fans out there that know all the
very.
details of that, and I'm not that person.
I will
All I know that's
eventually,
it.
maybe.
That's where I re-recognize my love for Jason Momoa. So it'll always have a special place in my heart.
Is this where I
Two
should say I don't know who that is?
Oh, Becca.
I just have to, people need to understand that I live under a rock.
Very much so.
Kind of does.
Very much so.
I don't know.
There's no. I don't think no cable still, right? No cable.
No,
Right,
we'll
Becca?
never have cable. We'll never have
Yeah.
cable.
Oh, I
can't
don't even
even-
have cable.
Okay, so two
watch it.
movies that were made into, well, two books that were made into books exactly as the books were, and were absolutely fantastic, and done by BBC because BBC does everything right. Were Anne of Green Gables, like literally word for word. Everything they say in the book is what they. I think literally one time grabbed the book to see if they were saying
Wow.
the same thing. They totally were. Because I was a huge fan of Anne of Green Gables and Pride and Prejudice. They did a really great job with Pride and Prejudice. And so it made it hard for me to watch the Pride and Prejudice, like, Hollywood version after watching the BBC version, because like the Pride and Prejudice BBC version I think is like, it's like hours, guys. It's not a regular movie.
Yeah.
Like they did the whole thing.
Like a mini
Like
series.
multiple. Yeah. It's like a multiple.
So, did you see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
No.
You should see it.
Did you really like it, or is it one of those that
I
just
really
made you
did like
laugh
it.
like crazy?
No, I really did like it. It's
Okay.
it's weird, right? Because it's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah.
But it was written by the same guy who wrote and it was a book first and movie. I didn't know that originally.
Oh.
But the same guy that wrote Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh.
Vampire.
I ain't
That
watched
one wasn't bad.
either.
I liked it, but I heard that one was
That one wasn't bad.
pretty different from Jonathan, my husband, read the book, and he said that it was pretty different. Like the movie and the book were not very similar. Just the basic idea was the same and a few scenes.
I had seen the book.
But he
Sometimes
liked
you see
them
the
both.
book gets gain popularity after the movie comes out, and I can't figure out
Yeah.
what came first.
Yeah, I believe the books came first, but I don't know how similar the book was of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I don't know how similar it was to the book, but anyway, it's fun. It's definitely fun, and again, maybe the book is
Might
way
watch it.
better, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like a good. And I thought people will probably kill me for saying this, but Stephen King. I'm not really a Stephen King person in general. Like he's a lot wordier than I like. So I liked The Stand, the old miniseries from when I was a teenager.
Mm.
I haven't seen it in at least 15 or 20 years. So like, don't judge me too much because it's probably when it was in the 90s, I think is when it came out, early 90s. So I'm sure the like production and stuff, it's outdated now, but I really liked it as a kid. And then I read the book and I was deflated. because I expected the book to be like,
more.
I don't know. I spent a lot of time skimming. You know what? And I read the it was like the extended version of the book. I didn't know there was such a thing at the time. I just got the one they had at the bookstore. And apparently the original version released with many hundreds of pages fewer because they had the editor, they had cut out so much of it because there's so much.
Version.
Yeah, but it was the only version. I mean, it was the only version that was released, but he had all of those old notes. And after the series came out, they released like the new extended with all the cut stuff that didn't make the first draft or like the first release. And I think I might have enjoyed it better without that because it was just a lot.
Gotcha.
Like it just went on. It seemed like it just went on and on and on and on and on, like inner thoughts and stuff. And I was like, in something like that where there's just a lot of like introspection, a movie can be nice because you just see their expression or you see the world, like you just see it, and then you don't have to like listen or read pages of description of it. You just see it in a glance and go on. And like to me, that's when a movie is like good, when you can. Well, obviously, other things about it have to be good too, but that's something that I appreciate about a movie versus a book is if I don't have to spend, because some of us don't get a lot of sleep and we can't just stay up reading.
Yeah.
For a long, long, long time. And so we tend to lose attention if a lot of things aren't happening in the book because we fall asleep.
Let's talk romance, Nikki. I don't read Nicholas Sparks, but I know he has.
I have his
quite
name
a
on my
few
list.
Movies, right? So he's done The Notebook.
Don't
which
people
actually was very
die at the
good.
end of his books? I don't really watch or read his stuff either.
In every single one of his books, somebody dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're talking about women's fiction, not romance. Let's just be clear.
My mother-in-law strongly encouraged me to read The Wedding.
Is that?
And
Nicholas
so I
Sparks?
read it. It's Nicholas Sparks.
Okay.
And it was not my thing. I read it.
Yeah, I don't even think that would be
And
my
at the
thing.
end, I was like, no, it's not a romance. It's not at all. And at the end, I thought, this is like, I don't know. I felt the plot, it was plot holes or like, it just didn't make sense at the end. And I felt really ripped off.
Oh no.
I was like, that's it. I'm not reading that. And then I found out that the reason he got a book contract is because he was good looking, not because of his writing. Real story.
Maybe.
Well,
So,
Becca, we'll have to tell that
I should start working out. I should start working out.
Becca, we'll have to tell your
lose 30
mom's
pounds.
story. Is it your mom's or Jonathan's mom about A Walk to Remember? Which I enjoyed
Yes.
that story.
I didn't know that was a
I bought
book.
the album.
That's
I
Nicholas
love
Sparks.
that movie.
I love that
Was
movie.
it really?
I mean,
Yes.
I
it
didn't like that movie.
was a good movie.
Did you read the
there was
book,
some
Winter?
acting growing. I have not. I've not read any of his books. But I
So-
have watched the movie. I own
Yeah.
the movie. I own the soundtrack. Like, I was a fan. There was
She's
some
a fan.
goofy moments. There was some goofy moments, but I really enjoyed
Yes.
the way
Overall, I
made
thought it
me
was
feel.
a good movie. It had a lot
Yeah.
of, but yes, I'm the one who told you that I'm not going to say anything mean, but my mother-in-law didn't like the movie as much because,
They changed.
well, it wasn't like book, but basically it intensified the book. Like he was more of a bad boy in the movie than he was in the book, and she was more of a good girl, I guess. But anyway, like basically just my feeling is I would not have liked the book because it would have been just kind of, okay, and then it's over. Where in the movie they tried to make more of a
Angst.
more conflict in the story.
Keep you engaged.
Yeah, and I
I don't know.
appreciate that. So.
I'm not a big I don't watch romantic movies except for, what is it? Christmas time, the holiday ones on the Hallmark Channel. Like the romance
We're
I
like, have I
read
seen
is
this one yet? I
dirty.
can't
If
remember.
people put it on a movie, like people would wonder what's wrong with them. Like, why is this such a dark movie and it's supposed to be a love story? That's the kind of books I read. So I don't think they would really make very good movies. But I do have to say, I am shocked at the amount of women in the writing community who write romance, their sole purpose is to get someone to buy their book and make it into a movie. There's a lot of people out there, and that is their goal. And that
So, like,
just
Hallmark
seems
style?
so complicated to me. Yeah, like
But you
Hallmark
know
style
why?
movies.
You know why?
You could pump those out 2 a month.
Well, it goes back to fan fiction and the kind of books you like. 50 Shades of Grey. It did all the things that those people want. It was fan fiction. It was actually fan fiction of Twilight.
Yeah, her book came out after she was fan fiction.
Yeah.
She had a massive following before she even published her first book.
Did she?
Yeah, because you post on those sites, right? And you just keep posting. And
it was like a Wattpad site or something like that, but it wasn't Wattpad. I had written down some at one point. But yeah, she had loads of readers who were reading through those websites that she was posting stories on.
Right, then you tell everyone, guess what?
That's another one. I really did like the movies when I watched it the first time, but then after that, I don't never watched them again. No.
Are you a person who watches movies multiple times? What?
I am.
You did one. Okay. Yeah, I can watch the same if I like them. Same with books.
Times. I don't always read books multiple times though.
Like the books I'm reading to Trooper right now, I've read at least 5 or 6 or 8 times myself in my life.
I don't like to watch movies over and over. Sorry, Nikki.
No, sorry, you're fine. I think I'm on a delay. I was going to say that you talk. Do it, talk.
It's funny. I hear you both. It's hilarious.
I was going to say, I don't like to watch movies over and over. Becca knows this. I don't like to read books over and over. So when I find some that I do like, I'm like addicted. I'm like all in. So like Lord of the Rings, I've watched 5 times people extended version. Like that's a big deal. But what I was going to say is apparently over and over and over. Yeah. It's 12 hours straight. No, that's not a weekend. That's like 12 hours. You sit your butt down, eat some popcorn, and you watch Lord of the Rings. It's that amazing. The Bourne series I have not read, but they are amazing.
I really like the movies.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's it. Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they were movies first.
Oh no, he's saying it was before it was a movie.
I don't.
They were movie first.
Movies first. At least some of them were. The first ones were movies first.
That was it. Sorry, it just hit me.
Yeah, because we read about George Lucas and how they like created those.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Yes, I agree. Bourne movies were awesome, and they were from books.
Oh, the
my favorite.
Movie.
I have to say, my favorite movie made from a book. Like, as far as compared, how much more I like the movie than the book. Does that make sense? Not that it's my favorite movie, but that I liked it way more than the books. Is Peter Rabbit. Did you see Peter Rabbit?
I haven't.
It is so funny. I mean, it's for kids.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious.
We're on Hoppa's house. We haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's an old one. We saw it in the theater, and we laughed so hard.
I just read Peter Rabbit to my kids the other night, and I forgot that the dad got baked in pie, and I'm like reading it like it's perfectly normal. I was like, and pie had an accident and ended up in a pie. And then the second night, I wanted to read it again, and I'm like, do I say it again? Am I going to realize that I said that yesterday and think I'm skipping something, or should I just skip it?
What did you do?
I skipped it. And my kids aren't that quick, so they didn't catch me. Yeah. But
it's not that I dislike the books,
questions about a rabbit and a pie at dinner at bedtime. No, I don't have that conversation.
Well, you have to show them the movies. And Winter, you would like it too. Like, it's just funny. It's so funny. And there's a love story in it too, with the humans involved. And I love the actors in it, all of them. And they add some, like, just, all the rabbits have their own little characters, and there's conflict besides, it's funny. Like, Trooper, laughed so hard in the theater, and then we've watched it a couple times since, just laughing, and he can't wait for the second one to come out. You know, the
Who
second
made
one's
it?
never as good.
No.
Never.
Was it Disney, Pixar, random,
I don't know. I have no idea.
Intel? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Nikki.
What time is it there, Winter? Are you tired?
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Anyway, so that's my plug for like my favorite. It's hilarious.
I don't know if I have a movie that I like better than a book. You should have assigned that as homework
Or
before
TV
today's
series.
call.
Or TV.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Tom
I
Clancy.
TV
think-
series that's better than a book is 110% Charmed, and I'm pretty sure those books were written after the TV series, because Charmed is
There's
the best show in the
books?
entire world. There are books. They're not that
I've
good.
never
point.
seen it, but I've been told I should.
Not the
Charmed
new
was good.
Charmed. The new Charmed is kind of awful.
I didn't know
The
there was a new
original
Charmed.
Charmed, yeah, that's
I
one
didn't.
that
I stopped
that's
somewhere
definitely better
along
than
the
the
way.
books. And Vampire Diaries. Vampire Diaries is way better than the books. Did
Are
not
they?
like the books. Couldn't even
Really?
finish the books.
Is
But you
that
took the time to
one
check
really
out the
funny?
TV series?
Wait, it's
Funny?
a TV series, not a movie.
It's drama, right?
It's not
drama.
a comedy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay, it's not what I'm thinking
It's
of then. We
paranormal
saw
drama?
some
Mhm.
movie. I thought it was Vampire something. About a girl who's like, she's the one that they drink blood from. Like, you know, like she's a pet, basically. But it's funny. I mean,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
a comedy, maybe, but there was a lot. But we thought it was really cute.
What was that one?
It was a
But
movie.
Book to movie.
Oh, no,
Book
that's
to
not
movie
cute.
vampire interview with the vampire.
I didn't.
Oh.
It was.
That
They
one's
did
too
a good
creepy for
job.
me. I heard that it
they
was
did a
good,
good
but I
job.
didn't.
They did a very
They
good
did a
job.
really
But that's
good job.
most of the time, though, when they do book to movie, they don't get the A-list actors. They did. You got Tom Cruise
Well,
and Brad Pitt.
yeah.
I mean, how's it not going
Yeah.
to be good?
I don't
So
know,
she
but sometimes
really-
when they
I'm with you
take
on
that guy and
And
put him
Rice.
into a character that I've already pictured in my head, it makes it harder for me to watch Brad Pitt play the love interest that I had that was not Brad Pitt.
I don't know.
Like when I
think I'd be
recognize
like,
the actors,
"Ooh, we'll change."
sometimes it's harder.
That's not him.
Oh,
That's just not him.
Depends on the year of
They
Brad
did the
Pitt. I mean,
casting
there were some very
all
good years,
wrong. They should have called me.
some not so very good years. Just saying.
well, I've had people complain. I didn't read the Jack Reacher books, but someone who complained that Jack Reacher, like that Tom Cruise doesn't fit the character at all.
But people
As
who
he's
haven't
Do you
described
think
in the
Tom
book.
Cruise
love
fit
it.
Jack
He's supposed to be like a
Reacher as he's
big,
described in the book?
tough, bulky guy, and Tom Cruise
have
is
the
like
book.
5'7" or something.
Oh, we're talking about Jack Reacher. I'm thinking about the other one.
But I like the
about-
Jack Reacher movies.
Half the James Bond still.
Oh, good point.
What?
Half the James Bond, the actor does not match what you would picture in your head.
That's because
I'm a strong component that Sean Connery is 100% the only James Bond that exists, but
I mean, Sean Connery can be everybody, everything, anywhere. He's one of my favorites.
I don't know. I like the new ones.
I have a crush
Not
on
because
him.
of the actor,
Well,
though.
And
because
I
of the
like
way
the new
that
ones
it's
because of the
described in
story.
book.
Yeah, I haven't read the books, but I really
I
like
haven't read any of them.
the stories. The new story version, the Daniel Craig version. That movie, like I've seen it several times. It just hits me every time. Like it makes me cry.
I do like the new ones. I do like them. But I watched them before I watched Sean Connery. Pull up a James Bond where he's James Bond and you're like, this has got to be exactly what they were picturing. He's still alive,
I know
right?
neither of you.
No?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you
Yes!
just glitched a little. It's okay.
My husband said he isn't.
We have 3 people watching actually, right now.
We do.
Don't stress. Don't stress.
Put in the notes what Put in the notes what movies you like that have come from books or TV shows, or which ones you don't like that did
Try.
not do the justice that you like.
Mhm.
But
Well, they
I
can
have to
hear
say,
us, so
yeah, Discovery of
Tell
Witches went
us.
to
Do it.
TV series, and they did a good job, from what I understand. Yeah, the ones that you guys won't read because they're too long, people, but they're
Oh, no.
amazing.
Practical Magic.
Amazing.
Practical Magic was a good book to TV too, or book to movie.
I was gonna say something. Oh, the one that Keanu Reeves does. That's like the action one, and he's
Matrix.
no.
say, was there one that he did that wasn't an action one?
Oh, he
I
does
was
the
thinking
one.
that's
What's the movie where Keanu Reeves was the
Oh,
with
the
puppy
newer
in the hotel?
ones.
I don't know if that's a book.
I
the
couldn't
one where
watch
he's
the last
assassin.
one.
John
I was like,
Wick.
what did they do? Yeah, John Wick.
John Wick.
John
I
We
watched
should
the
just have
first
my
one.
husband
Is
on
that-
screen
are
with
those
us. He's the
books?
only one who seems to know these movies.
Are those books?
I
Hey, books,
think
babe.
so.
John Wick became a comic book or was a comic book first? I can't
Either became a comic book or was a comic book first. Am I
don't
in a
know.
delay?
It could be like, no, we're just trying to process what you said.
I was gonna say though, there's other ones. So like, anybody read Laurel
Uh-oh.
K. Hamilton?
Winter just disappeared.
She did she did disappear. Laurel K. Hamilton's books are amazing. And then there was all this hype, and now there's a comic book. Not so
What kind of
amazing.
books are they? I mean,
There she is. Vampire Hunters.
okay. So I would probably like it. I
Winter,
like that
you
kind of
there?
stuff.
I'm here.
Like paranormal
about-
love stories, all that sort of stuff.
Dresden Files was a TV series for a little while.
Oh, was it? I don't think I even knew
It
that.
was Dresden Files, but I didn't. It was like on like TNT or something. I don't remember what show. So it was never on a main like Fox or anything. So it didn't get a lot of traction. So it didn't go as far as I think it could have. So I don't know.
So another one I like is like Tom Clancy movies and things like that, because
Yeah.
I'm never gonna like sit and read through all of that technological, all that stuff like about the submarine and where it's like paragraphs about the guns and whatever. Like
My husband reads them all the time,
But-
and I can't make it through like 3 pages. I get bored.
I've actually
right,
been
but in
planning,
the
I've
movie,
never read
it
any,
just kind
but
of
I've been planning
pans
to.
through, right, and you see it. That's what I was talking about for like when you can just. I don't have to sit there and read the whole description. I can just see. But my problem with those things is most of the time it's a bunch of older white guys in uniforms. And I have a form of face blindness and I cannot tell them apart. So I have to tell my husband, like, I'm always like, wait, which one is that? Which one is that one again? Well, that's the one that said this. And I can't tell them apart. They look the same. And then there will be a scene where they're not in their uniform anymore. And I think it's a new character because I can't tell it's the same guy that was wearing uniform before. And it's a little frustrating. But so I could never watch something like that myself. Or I'd be like, wow, this movie has so many main characters. My husband's like, that's the same guy as before. No way, you're kidding me.
Really drive you crazy when you watch something where like it is the
voice
same character.
recognition, Becca. You just gotta recognize their voices, and then you'll.
Yes, well, that's how I do a lot of things. I've learned now, like I pick up actors if I've seen them before in something and they have any kind of memorable voice. And people I know, because this happens in real life too, where like I'll hear someone, I'm like, oh yeah, because I know who it is because I hear them.
Yeah.
But it does make it a little trickier. And I guess I don't spend a lot of time imagining what people's faces look like in books because forget anyway. It's so bad.
Wow.
Like, no, you shaved.
Are there any books that you've read that you wish were made into a movie? That you would have liked to see it portrayed, if it would be portrayed
Done
to
well.
your liking.
The Inkheart book 1
Yeah.
made into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
and I did like the movie quite a bit.
Mhm.
I will still watch that one. Like if that's on, I watch it. But they never made the other books.
Didn't they
Mhm.
change the end in the movie to where it didn't really fit to make the more books? I feel like when I was done at the end of it, I was like, it kind of, they like took something from a later book and made that the end of the first movie.
And
So
like
then
it-
it kind of like
Right.
took
You're
the,
like, huh? I don't know. I would have liked to see them do more of it. The Golden Compass was another one I would have
I was
liked
just
to
gonna
see
say
them do
Golden
more of
Compass, and they did A Wrinkle in Time too. When you're doing,
I didn't
Oh,
read
yeah.
A Wrinkle in Time, but I
Yeah.
did enjoy the movie.
Both.
good stuff.
Although it had been a long time since I read The Wrinkle in Time. I know I would have loved it. That was a good movie.
I never read it. I
Yeah.
never read kids.
I got it. You want to borrow it? I read
You know, for a kid's book, yeah.
When am I gonna see
I
it?
didn't either. That's why.
book.
Except the Chronicles of
I'll mail it
Narnia,
to you.
which is another one we can talk about. Have you seen the Chronicles
Oh.
of Narnia? I mean,
They
there's been a
did
lot
a
of
good
movies.
job. They did a
With the
good job
first
with
one.
Chronicles of Narnia.
The first one was good, and the second one was good, and then the third one,
The Prince Caspian one. Was that the third one?
yeah, which
Or
is
was
my
that-
no, the Voyage
Yeah.
of the Dawn Treader is the third one, which is my favorite of the books, and they changed it in ways that it shouldn't have been changed. Like they took the spirit out of the movie. You know what I mean? Like they changed the
Now, are you
point
saying
of
this
it.
because it was your favorite book, or
Well, it's not that this. I mean, they did change some. I mean, they couldn't put all this stuff in it because it's too many things happen in the book.
right?
But the point of it is different. You know what I'm saying? Like
Which should be
there was like more morals, and not just morals, but like ideas about how the world works and what's good and things like that were in the book that were really like hardcore. And then the movie, I mean, there was a nice little thing in the movie about being yourself and not trying to be someone else, which is good. You know, like it's not bad, but it's just, they kind of just took all the meat out of it. Like the pack to punch. And yeah, they took a lot of scenes out of it too. I mean, a lot of them. But I understand that because you kind of only have to just barely hit highlights. But then they added a whole bunch of stuff in to support the others, like their new point, with all new characters and a whole bunch more stuff that isn't. I don't know, if they'd taken out if they hadn't put so much other stuff in, they could have kept in some of the other stuff that was in the books. So I'll read from the comments. Charisse says hi, and sorry, she's no help because she doesn't really read books that become movies.
I was gonna say that before we started, we threw out their Divergent. So I'm just gonna say for those of you who like
yes.
Divergent, that was made into a movie, and that's all I have to say about it.
That is not all she has to say about it, folks. If you want to know the real truth here, we have enough time for her to share all of her thoughts on it. We could schedule a separate event next week. You can come back in here
We're
with
not.
Winter's opinion on
I
the movie.
refuse.
Divergent.
I was just shocked to find out that they made more. Like, I really thought after the second one that it flopped so bad they didn't make any more. Like, I just like, oh.
No, all of her fans went out and watched them. Like a lot of people.
And
watched them.
I was
Yeah,
one
I
of her
watched it.
fans, and I went out and watched them, and I still watch them when they come on again. So
I'm
don't
gonna have
all
to get
hate
them and watch them. I really liked the first one a lot. I liked it, and then I read the book because I liked the movie, and I was like, well, if I like the movie this much, I'll like the book. And I did like the book. But then as they went on, I liked them less and less. You know, as far as the story, like I liked it less and less. I got more confused about who's talking and stuff. And Charisse says she did see that one. So Charisse, what was your opinion on it? Did you like it? Did you read it and watch it, or did you just watch it?
Are you
or
in
did you
Camp
just...
Nikki or Winter? Tell us what side you're on.
Winter has no camp. Winter has no opinion.
No, Winter has a city. There's no camp.
Have you noticed
New
we haven't
York.
let her start talking yet? Just keep talking. Maybe we could change the subject before she could get some more words in.
No, I told her I was reading it. This is years ago, right? Because I watched the movie and I liked it, and we were talking on the phone, and I said, "So I'm reading," and she's like, "Oh, let me." That's what she did. She went,
know that.
"Oh,"
Oh.
and I went, "What?" She's like, "Just let me know when you're finished with it, and tell me what you think." Which I appreciate that she didn't give anything away.
I did not.
Sheree says she watched it. She didn't read it.
That is the worst.
Anyway, there was
She called me and we had a long conversation. That's all I gotta say.
we did. I was kind of raging. I was like, I don't know when I was talking to you if I was, but after it was over, I had like days of book depression after that, where I like cried and I was mad at the world.
I was very upset.
Sharice didn't know it was the book.
That's all I'll say.
I feel like the first one was pretty like really similar to the book and the movie. I thought they fit pretty well. I mean, of course they had to shorten some things, but
I can't tell you. I didn't get that far. I didn't watch the movies.
None of them at all.
I literally walked into a room and it was on. It was like the last scene of the movie, and I was like, "Yeah, I know why they did that." That was it.
I might like the movies better than the books then, because
Probably.
I was really upset. I was really upset. Like, how could you do that?
You were upset.
I was. I am not an especially emotional person, but I was very upset.
I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
I did, Nikki. Like,
All right.
I
How about
stopped
ladies?
listening to audiobooks for a day. So, like, what's happening?
Oh, right.
Okay, other movies and books.
On that note,
Other movies
what
and books.
else? Ooh, Percy Jackson.
I started watching the Shannara series. I tried it.
Okay,
And
how
I
was
was
it?
like, it was okay. Like, it just kind of felt like
I saw the first
nothing was really happening.
10 minutes.
I don't know. And I was really not pleased with Al-Anon, who was my favorite character, and they changed him dramatically, and I was...
Oh.
But I can see why people would like it, like if that's the kind of thing, but...
I think if you don't already have expectations, it's easier to watch a movie. When you already have expectations of how the character sounds, looks, how the place is described, it's easier to maybe not enjoy a movie because you've already decided what it should be like, and they didn't consult you when they made it. So,
which they should. They should.
That also makes me wonder why so many
I read it.
authors want to make their books into movies. Because, like, wouldn't you, like, why? Your book's good. Leave it alone. It's doing great.
For the money.
well, honestly, you may get more money if you do the smart thing like J.K. Rowling and put yourself as part of the
whole
production.
thing.
Getting paid to do it.
But also at the same time, by it becoming a movie, you actually reach more people who have not
You end
known
up getting a
about-
lot more readers.
Oh, speaking of the Bridgertons series, fantastic series, has just been made into a TV series.
I've heard about
And
it.
I hear it's good. I hear it's really good. I haven't seen it because I live in my truck and I don't have TV. But
It's on
I just
Netflix.
got Hulu, so I might
I've
find some
heard
stuff.
it's
So
good too. We have two authors in particular on our group who have become pretty obsessed with it.
With
No
what?
names mentioned.
With what?
Bridgerton. Yeah.
well, we know
I've
it's
heard
not. We know it's not the lady at the top right. The who? The who?
I had to ask somebody what it was because someone was obsessing about it over Facebook, and I was like, and everyone was, oh yeah, and I was like, I've never even heard of it. Oh, comments.
Yeah.
Cherie says exactly. This is going back. She said she doesn't watch and then read.
You have to read and watch.
I don't watch, read then watch, or if she's saying she doesn't do either, but it's frustrating. Because yes, I agree. It can be very frustrating.
It's just one or the other. You only do one or the other, basically. If you watch a movie, you don't read the book, and if you read the book, you don't watch
I think
the movie.
I think that's what she's saying because
Probably a better plan than
that
what
makes
we
sense.
do.
Well, if I watch the movie like I did with Twilight and with Harry Potter, and I was like, there's more information here. I need more information. Then I'll go get the book and I'll feel satisfied. But if I probably read the book and then go to a book movie and I feel like they left a ton of stuff out, I might have my feelings hurt. I'm just saying. But I can tend to be lenient with most things when we're
As long as it's
talking
not
about
Divergent.
certain stuff.
It's not Divergent.
I was trying not to say that.
So another
My
one that
issue's
was
not
really
getting with
horrible
the
was
movie.
Artemis Fowl. Did you read or listen to or
No,
the
you
Artemis
talked about it a few
Fowl
times,
books?
though. Never
We
heard
didn't listen to all of them. We've done like 3 or 4 of them though, and the first ones I really enjoyed, and they're fun, and they could have been. We were really looking forward to it. Like, we couldn't wait till it came out, but then it didn't come out because there was a delay in the whatever, right? All this stuff, and it ended up being like a year later. And I couldn't watch it. Like, I started watching it, and it was just, they took a couple character names and said this is Ireland, and then the rest of it was completely different. I mean, they didn't follow the same storyline or the same character. Like, the characters weren't like themselves. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they left some stuff out. It's like they didn't actually read the book. They just talked to someone who had read the description of the book and said, "Oh, it's popular. Let's make a movie."
Becca, what's that? What's that book? That was turned into a movie a couple times, and I think the most recent was turned into a TV series with Neil Patrick Harris, and the other ones were Jim Carrey, the movies.
Series of Unfortunate Events.
There it is. I didn't even have to try to
Oh.
think of it. Lemony
I didn't-
Snicket.
I didn't like the
You know, like-
first movie, and I did not watch any of the other adaptations after that.
So no TV series with Neil Patrick Harris.
Jonathan and
Did you
Trooper
read-
watched it, all of it.
What they think?
They really liked it.
Which
For
one,
me,
the
it's-
movie or the series or both?
The series. I don't think they watched the movie. Maybe they did, but they watched the series and they just loved it. I mean, like, not
Really?
either. I couldn't watch it. It's too dark. Like, I just don't like dark stuff. It makes me feel really dark. So I just,
Okay, I got one for you guys.
what?
And they had a sequel, and the sequel was just as good as the first one, in my opinion.
No, that's odd.
What are you talking about?
It can be. That's because they had Robert Downey Jr. play it.
Oh.
And
I know
it
she
just
doesn't
went
know.
out of my head.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Left
you're
right there.
evil.
Huh?
Good job.
So evil. How can you do that?
The guy who's really smart and solves all the mysteries.
Oh.
Really smart. Solves all the mysteries.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr.
Holmes.
come
Sherlock
on.
Holmes.
Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
They did a fantastic job with those.
They
I
did a
liked
good job with
that,
those.
but the show Sherlock.
I haven't watched that.
Oh.
The one with
BBC
Lucy
one
Liu?
is better.
Sherlock, the show, it's just called Sherlock with
Okay, not the one
that
with
really
Lucy
tall
Liu.
guy.
Oh, there's the one that was on TV with. Is that the
It's
one you're
Netflix,
talking about?
I think. Wasn't it? No, it wasn't
There's
on
been a
Netflix
few
first.
different
It's a
one on
British
actual
show.
TV.
The Office.
We
no,
saw
no,
it
no,
on
the
Netflix.
Sherlock, the TV show.
But The Office wasn't
Who
a
was in
TV,
that?
wasn't a book.
Johnny something.
Johnny something. That's not helpful. Who was the woman?
Oh, there was the TV. Well, that's a,
Why is
Oh, that
Sutherland
was
coming
Lucy
to my
Liu
mind?
played Holmes.
that's
Yeah.
based in America, right?
Yeah.
But there's the British one. It's just called Sherlock, and there were like
Yeah.
3 or 4 seasons, and they're like it's basically like 3 movies, not
Good.
and
It was
it
Watson.
is.
Oh, because
Lou was Dr. Watson.
Lucy Liu was Dr. Watson. Sorry, I'm old conversation trying to get the right answers. Having a hard time
She
connecting the
plays in
dots
it.
tonight.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Lucy
look it up because
Watson.
what's the guy's name? He played all
The
right,
guy who was in the British Sherlock Holmes.
Benedict
British television
I
series.
don't know
Cumberbatch.
why, but Jude Law is in my head,
Benedict
but I don't think it was him.
Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, that's the one. And the other guy is
It's like the
no, I
I had it right 4 minutes ago.
Yes,
I'm gonna
that
switch out.
is
You want to tag me out, babe?
just excellent. We've watched it twice. Again, it's not kid friendly. And nowadays that Trooper's older, like we have a hard time watching anything without him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's limited a little more. Most of it's not bad. There's just one episode in particular where there's a lady walking around without clothes on. I mean, you don't see her from the front without clothes on, but it's obvious that she's walking around without clothes on. And it would be awkward with a 10-year-old.
Is it a romance story?
But
Just kidding.
no, it's not at all romance.
It was a joke.
I mean, there's kind of, I don't know. But it's fun. And it's like mind twisting where you come around and you're like, oh man, that was good. But yeah, I saw the other movies too, but I just don't remember them as well now because I didn't see them 4 times.
I'm trying.
Like
It's
I
9
did.
o'clock, guys. What time did we start?
It is. We started at 8.
Did
Right?
we? Did we?
About. Yeah, it's pretty close.
We had a
Did
time,
I? We're out of time.
and nothing cut us off. I don't think. We'll see.
No,
So-
it's been on because
Can I
people have
say-
been interacting, so it has to be
That's
there.
right. It's the first time we've been able to access comments too. This might be our
So
jam.
for those of you who watch this at a later date on YouTube, please subscribe and write in the comments what movies you do enjoy from movies and from books and which ones you did not, TV series, all of the above, and let us know
In
what you think.
particular, we want to know your opinions on Divergent.
We really enjoy.
You can send them directly to Winter Navi. Find her name online next to her most recently published short story.
I have 2 names. You won't find me.
I'll point you in her direction. It's info@nikkirome.com. I'll just forward those right over for you. No problem. Someone else can maintain this conversation with her for a little while.
Don't
We've done our
attack
due
me.
diligence.
So, what are we doing next week before we go off?
I don't remember,
Isn't
but I
it
know
our
we had
guest?
something.
We don't have our guest next week?
Today is
No.
the 6th, right? So, yes, next week is our guest
You were going to talk
on
about
the 13th.
creativity, family,
Nikki,
being creative
it's our
with family.
guest.
Next week is their guest, the 13th.
Oh, because we missed Saturday.
Yeah.
She said nope.
So, we have Beth
Yes,
coming on to
that's
talk
right
to us about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and how they affect us as adults and as kids, and how we can
Oh, I get it now because we're missing next
get better.
Saturday. Because our next call will be on the 13th, on the 10th.
It's after 9 and we're old.
I gotta
So-
go. I gotta go to sleep.
Which days, Nikki?
Wrap this thing
Which
up.
days?
There'll be
All
an
right,
invite
good
in
night,
Facebook
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Wait.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say wait the topic because I think we missed it. What's the topic for next week?
ACEs,
ACEs.
adverse
which means
childhood experiences.
awesome sauce.
So it's
It is
kind of
good
a
stuff.
brainy one. Good stuff to learn about and for life improvement and that kind of thing.
All right.
Maybe not
I
as
wouldn't-
much laughing. There might be some
Maybe
laughing
not.
too, though, because she's a really funny lady. I don't know how you put laughing into that
What
topic,
she
but
does regularly.
she is very funny. So
All right.
So
See
we'll
you
see how
guys
it
next
goes.
week.
good night.
Sounds good.
Good night.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.